Good morning, West Central Alberta. I'm Dale Michaels. It's 5:30. Another cold one on the outside, minus 32 this morning. Insulated coveralls will come in handy for those working the pipeline. I'll have a satellite weather update in minutes. Now, more of West Central Alberta's best variety of music.
It's cold this morning.
Comes a time when you take the time to thank the folks up and down the line. People from different walks of life on down the road. Come morning light, pipeline junkies out working in the snow. Small town folks who make us feel at home. Poor boy crews working 10-hour days, stringing and bending on the right of way.
You want to roll that pin?
Gas Control, Bill and helicopter TDA.
Well, I think this job's been 100%. It's been exceptional. Everybody's got along really well.
Those whose life is working the land, who have the vision to understand, laying down the lifeline of the future.
All right, Wolf Lake, this is the Dynamite Crew.
It takes a lot of heartfelt pride. You need a courage deep inside to go above and beyond the call of duty.
When the pipeline started coming in, we decided to open an hour earlier in the morning in order to accommodate the guys to come in.
Actually, for a small town like Edson, it's great that they can support the local businesses.
We wish to leave the area in as good a shape as we possibly can, and sometimes better than we found it.
With the overall market that we're looking at nowadays, the price of gas, that's the hot item these days. And the customers down there's customers buying, and if they're buying, we're transporting. So, and the overall look is that we're going to be quite busy in the next several years building pipelines. It is great for the community, because I think pretty well all the businesses would profit from it in one form or another, whether directly or indirectly.
This particular job with Nova OJ was the best I've ever done with the buy local. Like, even if they knew where it was in Edmonton, they would quite often say, we can get it there, but if you can procure it for us, we'll buy it from you.
Well, it starts off, I guess, with system planning making the recommendation, Bruce.
Yep.
And then we get it. We hook up with our designers, dedicated team members to it, which include the survey people, the geotech folks, environmentalists, and we come out and we'll fly the routes, select routes, review them, kind of pin down where we're going to, any problems we're going to have with the routing. We try to get the construction advice involved as soon as we can. The inspectors out here that you've seen have basically arrived at the time of the job.
Minus 27 degrees Celsius this morning here, and it's a bit nippy. At the present time, I have a clearing contractor that clears the right-of-way for us, removing trees and what have you, so that our pipeline can be laid. The colder it is, the better it is for clearing right-of-way, because as the cat goes along and tries to clear the brush and the small trees, the colder it is, they will snap off. When it's warm, they don't break off, they just bend over. We have approximately 19 people employed, 3/4 of them are native people, which is very good for the local economy. They do good work here, and they're pleasant people, follow all our safety rules and regulations that we have in place.
Pretty well all timber of a merchantable size is salvaged, both species, deciduous and coniferous, on these lines, and it's only the brush and timber that's too small to be merchantable, which is burnt anymore. I've seen moose especially right on the right-of-way, very near to construction. It doesn't seem to bother them very much, and I have tracked them. Say during the night, they'll cross between joints of pipe and don't seem to bother them too much. They will actually walk right beside the big 48-inch pipe. The tracks are evidence of that.
The pipeline in general coming to town is a gold mine, particularly for a store like Work World. They came immediately to our store and started shopping here, and we formed a relationship in such things as opening Sundays, extra hours, phone calls in the evening. We took good care of them, and they returned it by giving us the business.
Well, right after clearing is done, we then strip what we call the duff off the top and set it off to one side. And then when we've done that, Then the grade tractors come along and they level the whole right-of-way out from one side to the other, from, you know, like from the ditch side to the work side, just so they can lay the pipe down and it's nice and smooth.
After we've done that, then we string the pipe like this, and then we bend the pipe to fit the contour of the land so that it'll fit into our ditch so that the pipe is not under any strain as it's laying there. On pipe that is larger than 16 inches in diameter, we use a mandrel, it's called, and it's put inside the pipe, and right at that point where the pipe is being bent, this mandrel opens up and keeps the pipe perfectly round as it's being bent. Like when we have a bend, we just don't put that pipe in the machine and just give it one bend here and get a 45-degree out of it. It's done gradually to get our bend, so we move it about every 9 to 12 inches. We move the pipe and then give it another bit of a burst of a bend, and that's how we get our long slope bends. Well, that fellow that you see sitting on the chair there watching that little rabbit run back and forth, he's the one that sets that mandrel inside the pipe exactly where it's supposed to be, so when the pipe is being bent, that it's there doing its job, that the pipe doesn't get kinked.
My job here is quality control, to make sure that Nova gets a good welding job done on their pipe, eh? What's a pass? Well, that's a form of welding that just puts so much thickness of material into the joint. Well, we've got 5 passes. A bead, which is a root, a hot pass, a first and second fill, and a cap. Gets a good welding job done on their pipe, eh? Every weld is checked, yeah. The whole circumference of the pipe.
We're taking an ultrasound of the weld volume, ensuring integrity by locating defects, making sure they're not too long, where the pattern is, and so on. Try to establish if there's any consistent problem in the welding, and then they come back here and go back up to the welders and rectify the problem. Now, this year, with the computer power and so on, we can create three-dimensional images of the inside and approach it from many different views, whereas X-ray would approach it from one view. And of course, the data is accumulated instantly. There's no wait for washing the film and processing, and they get their records 3 or 4 welds behind the welds rather than 20 or 30.
A very busy winter with all the drilling going on, but mostly the OJ and Nova Pipeline project has kept us real busy. They put a lot of money into the community and sponsoring ball and hockey and 4-H.
Well, right now it's a nice night tonight. Like, it's only probably about 20, minus 20. The other night it was minus 26. This morning it was minus 36. Some counties won't let you open cut their district roads, so you have to bore through it. The casing will go through, then they'll tack on our heavy wall pipe, which goes under the road, and they'll keep pushing it through like this. They'll get to the other side and they'll cut the casing off, pull all the augers out, cut the casing off in pieces. Then once you get the heavy wall pipe through, we're done. Most jobs there is an ambulance available, and on site, he's there to help. He also helps when we move equipment across the highway. He goes back so far, stops all traffic. Then we put tires down, walk the equipment across, take the tires off, sweep that area, and then let the traffic through.
We have 2 trained ambulance attendants on the site, plus several other industrial first aid persons in a working capacity.
Our group is putting the coating on the welds, and basically we start out with a sandblast to clean our pipe and to put a profile on that our coating can stick to. And then we come along and we mix our coating. It has to be mixed properly. We have a procedure we follow. And the coating is painted onto the welds. I have another gauge where I measure to make sure we have enough thickness in our coating that it's going to give us good protection, and we have to make sure it's on properly. We have proper heat. There's actually a lot of girls working along the line. Some women don't belong out here, but some guys don't either.
This ditch is probably 9 feet deep, You take thickness of the pipe was 4 feet, 48 inch. This loop is probably 30% with the wheel, with the ditcher. The rest is all with the hoe. You know, your side bends, you have to do it with the hoe. You can't ditch around the corner. This is the back cradles where it moves it over to set it down in the ditch. If you got your first cradles, picking it off the skid pile. Second one, he moves it over a little further. This tractor will move it over a little more. And the last tractor. So where you got the very last tractor was a catch-off, he's going to hold it. And he'll hold it in place till they get up far enough to get it back down in the ditch.
So just because of the sheer weight that you have to have all this machinery?
Right.
Definitely a plus factor to the town. The people who live here, the residents, have more active dollars, and that's very evident. The hotels, of course, are in wonderful shape at the moment, unless you're traveling through and need a room.
We're running full in the wintertime. You wouldn't normally do that. The town itself is quite diversified, so our winters are not bad, but with the pipeline, it's just, I guess it's the icing on the cake.
Well, the helicopter's out here to support the construction project for a number of reasons, actually. One of the main reasons is for safety in case of injury. Also, to check construction rather than having to drive 40 or 50 kilometers up and down the line. We can get them there in 10 or 15 minutes. And just in general support, we have environmentalists and other support groups that have to come out and see the line and get to specific areas, and we can do it much faster and much easier than spending an hour or two bumping along in a pickup truck.
Yeah, when you're passing through Edson Way, you'll be sure to hear people saying there's a spirit in the West that can't be spoken. It's a confidence in who we are. It's brought Alberta here this far. Yeah, spirit that has been but never broken. It takes a lot of heartfelt pride. You need a courage deep inside. Go above and beyond the call of duty. To go above and beyond the call of duty.
There's a lot of benefits to working in a small community, for the community.
It's a whole team atmosphere.
We all like to eat, we all like to live in a warm home, so that's why we're out here. That's why I'm out here.
The game plan for next year is being formulated right now.
It's another day of extreme cold, minus 35. The seats on the heavy equipment along the pipeline will feel like a rock this morning. Telling you right now, no bouncing allowed. I said no bouncing allowed. Satellite weather update on the way in minutes.
Pico and Shorty and the dead cow man, Shaky and the pipe gang doing what they can. Inspector watching the holiday detector. Nova's there to make it all better for the men and women working 10-hour days, doing it all on the right of way. Above the car, Pico and Shorty and the dead cow man, Shaky and the pipe gang doing what they can. Inspector watching the holiday detector. Nova's there to make it all better for the men and women working 10-hour days.